foundation of self-confidence, competence. What is competence anyway? Competence is your ability to get things done right. It doesn't matter what it is. It can be an intellectual job. It can be something that you do with your hands. It can also involve your work process, showing up on time, putting in the work, making sure that work meets minimal standards, knowing what to do when certain conditions arise, and knowing how to overcome challenges. This is competence. Now, I'm not talking about excellence here. I'm talking about competence. You're meeting a standard of quality and, most importantly, you're able to do this day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year. You're able to stick to that level of competence over an extended period of time. It's not something that you do when you feel like it. You're not a very competent person when you are hot and cold. Competence is all about stability, and you also must be able to ensure that your skill sets in whatever area in life stays relevant. You don't hang on to old skill sets that may have been valuable 20 years ago. Let's get one thing clear. In the internet age, as well as in the mobile age, skill sets that were valuable 20 years ago are almost absolutely worthless today. Competence is all about staying abreast of technology and keeping up with what's in demand. How competence boosts self-esteem. When you notice that you are able to do the right things at the right time to produce the right results with the right people on a consistent basis, one realization kicks in. It's as if a diamond bullet hits you right in the middle of the head. You realize that you're not all that bad. You can actually get things done. Now, you're not falling in love with yourself thinking that you're the best thing since sliced bread. It's not quite like that. But you get this calm realization. I can get things done on a consistent basis. I can meet certain quality standards. I can do this all day, every day. You may be thinking that this is the most banal and innocent thing in the world. You might be thinking that this happens all the time. Well, there's actually a lot happening when you realize this. It all boils down to you realizing the power and impact of your choices. You must understand that the competent results that you have produced are unavailable to other people. They can't do it. How come? Well, at the root of it is they simply do not make the right choices. But you can. That's where your power comes from. You make a choice and you act on that choice in such a way that the results of your choices meet a certain standard. It's all about your choice. If you peel away the surface layer of that choice, it's all about your personal will. You could have made another choice. You could have avoided making a choice at all. A lot of people are good at that, but you made a choice by applying your personal will. Competent people understand the connection between the choice that they make and the results that they get. The thicker and more defined that connection becomes, the more confident they become. They understand that there is a strong correlation between them saying, I want this to happen, and then producing the results that they desire. Believe me, there's something beautiful about being able to turn the ideas kicking around in your head, floating in varying degrees of definition and clarity into things that you can actually see, hear, touch, taste, and smell. It's a beautiful thing. You create your reality when you do that. Let me tell you, there's no shortage of people who sit back and just daydream all day. They talk big. They talk about all the things that they could have done. They talk about things that could happen. They theorize about what they could possibly be doing. But not one of them is lifting a finger to make those amazing ideas reality. You're not one of those people. You actually get up off your butt and do something about it. That's something to be confident about. That's something to feel good about. Competence is not static. Competence is not some sort of label somebody puts on you. You're competent, and just because they put that label on you, it magically transforms you like Cinderella's fairy grandmother transforming mice into men and pumpkins into carriages. Competence is real precisely because competence is something you do. Competence shows not only the rest of the world that you can get stuff done, which is a big thing, but it does something more. Competence shows you your personal power and control. There's a direct link between your personal will and your reality. This is the difference between guys who look at a Ferrari and say, the rich are getting richer and the poor are getting poorer, and I can't afford that car. And a guy who says, what do I need to do to drive a car like that? When you ask yourself questions that trigger your imagination, creativity, and resourcefulness, you start deploying your personal willpower towards a reality that you can manifest. Everything flows in that moment. You start looking at the outcome that you want, which is a Ferrari in your garage. Then you start coming up with goals. How much is that Ferrari? How do I come up with $300,000? What kind of business activities can I engage in? What kind of sidelines can I put up? What is the potential ROI of these different sidelines? What are their advantages and disadvantages? What are their risks and rewards? What is the likelihood of success for each of these alternative options? What kind of resources do I currently have which is a better fit? Do you see that line of questioning? Those come from people who get inspired by other people's success. They look at the fruits of success and it triggers in them a chain reaction of questions that ultimately result in actions that produce an outcome. Compare this with somebody who just says, I can't afford that. Case closed. Which would you rather be? I thought so. See you in video 4.